David Litvack.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In light of what was going to be the motion, I will be brief and I will bring a point up that I don't think has been raised. And I do agree. I think we should not be repetitive on each of these bills, both those speaking in support and in opposition. We are being sold that this is about education funding. And there's no doubt that the impact on education funding would be there. But I do have some concerns with where this is heading philosophically. We are putting all of our eggs into one basket. We are ignoring the fact that we make decisions here each and every session that have pulled money from public education. When we supported a flatter tax a couple of years ago, that has resulted in a loss of about $200 million a year to our public schools. We have passed how many tax credit bills out of this body this year? That pulls money out of public education. When we look at states with the same comparables in terms of access to their land or land owned by federal government, let's look at where we rank in terms of our commitment to public education. Nevada, the federal government owns 82% of their land, yet they spend approximately $8,300 per student. Alaska, 62% federally owned. They spend about $15,000 per student. Idaho, 62% federally owned. They spend about $7,000 per student. Utah, 64% owned, about $5,700 per student. So is this really about simply and narrowly about access to public land? Or is the issue of funding education where we put our priorities? And the decisions that we make in this body that impacts public education funding. There's no denying that access to lands would have a positive effect on funding for education 20, 30 years from here, if this legal argument is successful, which is a big if. My concern is that we're putting all of our eggs into this basket and we're ignoring today's students. We're ignoring where our commitments are today. Have we made progress over the last several years? Have we tried to hold education harmless? Absolutely. But isn't there more that we can do for today's students instead of continually battle for those 20 or 30 years from now? I question where our priorities are today. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative.